Judge cranks one. Deep left field. A grand slam.
Bases loaded. Hits the stand. Swung on. And drilled deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
Lost. You're not going to hit the ball. You're going to swing and miss.
Now it's Chisholm. High drive. Right field. Goodbye.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the first ever Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host, Vincent LaRose, and today I wanted to get into the Yankees offseason so far, as it is not over yet, and a little bit into the people we lost and some of the people we ended up adding after the losses. And a grade at the end, an off-season grade for the Yankees to see basically where they're at going in to the start of the 2025 season, and if I personally believe this is a team good enough to at least get to the World Series as we did last year. So, to start, I want to name some players we lost. As we know, the big one, Juan Soto, probably had the best season of his entire career. And it was definitely a tough loss. The contract, in my opinion, was a little absurd. And if we pay that, am I going to be upset? No. But do I think he's worth that much money? No. So, wasn't bad, 40-plus home runs, high average, good on base. The defense is awful, but it's a hard player to lose, and he's irreplaceable. So you lose a lot with that, and I do think he's one of the keys that allowed us to get to the World Series, and losing that is tough, and I see why a lot of fans were upset, but I feel that it's not something you can really blame the Yankees for. I feel like their offer on the table was, it's obviously the biggest contract offer we've ever given to anybody in the history of the Yankees. So losing out on him, as his more of the details of the deal came out, and seeing like the Mets were willing to give up more than just money with the press box or the box and all that, and I just don't, they stood their ground. I don't blame them. They didn't give Jeter one, they didn't give Judge one, so I don't see why they'd give Juan Soto one. And no hate to the guy because he's a great baseball player, but having Judge in front of him was a huge help for him, and I see him losing that. It's gonna hurt him a lot more than people think, in my opinion. So, he could have the greatest season we've ever seen. So who knows? But yeah, that's one of the big losses. I'd say next up we also lost. We lose Gleyber Torres, which is one I see 50-50. A lot of fans don't like him, and then a lot of fans did like him. So he was good. Anybody who says he wasn't good is wrong. His defense, again, like Soto, was bad. He was probably the worst second baseman in baseball, other than Luis Ariz, when he did play second. But Torres plays second almost every single day, so he was a liability in second base, just as Soto was a liability in right field. And it is a tough loss. It is tough to lose somebody like that. I started getting super into the Yankees right about the beginning of his career, a little before the beginning of his career, but I was super in. So most of my fandom has been watching him play baseball. So it's a little tough to watch him go. I see why he wasn't offered a contract, and I personally wouldn't have offered him that much. What I think he got from the Tigers was probably a good fit for him, maybe a little bit of an overpay, but nothing crazy. So, there was offers on the table for him to play third base. That would have never worked for us. I would not have wanted to see him at third base. It's a tough loss, but I understand it at the same time. Then I'll go to Clay Holmes, losing Clay Holmes. Um, there's a reason we called him Cardiac Clay. Was sometimes I'd watch him and I was like, wow, this is one of the best closers I've ever seen. And Yankees fans, how we're always like, oh, next Mo, it's never gonna happen, but we're gonna say it regardless, no matter what. But losing him, again, I feel like it's the same feeling as Torres, where some people, I think more people dislike Clay than more people liked him. When he was on, he was an insane closer. Watching the movement on his stuff was ridiculous. It was some of the best stuff I've ever seen. It's if he could actually throw it for a strike and or not right down the middle. So that was his problem. But you know, he's still a big arm to lose, regardless of the fact. It would be nice to have him still, even with the additions we've made, which I'll talk about later. It'd still be nice to have him, and I'm not gonna say out and bold out lie say I'm happy he's gone. I'm not happy he's gone. I'd rather have him than not have him. So, but and then next guy I want to get into, Tommy Kahnle. Tommy Kahnle technically hasn't signed yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see anything that he has signed yet. I just don't see him coming back, even if he hasn't signed. I just with the way our payroll's working out right now, I know they don't really want to go much over that third luxury tax. If they don't want to go over it at all, let alone a little more than it is already. So I don't see Tommy Kahnle coming back. Tommy Kahnle was good. He was good for the most part in the playoffs. He's a character to have. It's nice to have somebody like that. He was a good He was a good guy. Watching him pitch was interesting. Because it was like 95% of the time changeup. So watching, I think it was like 40 something straight changeup in the playoff or something like that. It was something ridiculous. It was definitely an interesting guy. He does get hurt a lot, so I which is tough. He's had a lot of bicep problems, which I find very weird, but he was a good pitcher and he was a good guy for the Yankees. Another, a loss you don't want to see go. Again, it would be nice to have him again. Don't see him re-signing. I doubt he's re-signing. So, but a tough loss and a great a great pitcher and just a great character to have. Everybody loved him and he seemed like a fun guy to have in the clubhouse. So, even that is tough to lose sometimes. All right, and another guy we lost, Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo's last 2 years have been strange. He's been hurt most of the time. His contract did not play out well at all. Anthony Rizzo's another guy you love to have, and you expect so much from him sometimes, and then, just you look at the stats from the past 2 seasons, not good. Hasn't been on the field, and last year you can even tell he was starting to lose his defensive touch, which was rough because just with Torres at second base and the 50 different guys we had playing at third base, it was tough to see, and Rizzo's a guy I love as a player. He seemed like a great guy as a person as well, just a great person. Him and his charity with his wife, just it's tough. Again, it's almost like Tommy Kahnle. It's just that the personality is tough to lose. So, but he wasn't good. End of story. He just wasn't good. He was not great. We had no production from first base last year, defensive and offensively. You can look at the numbers. It was bad. So, as much as it sucks to lose a guy because we've had him for a little bit of time now, it makes a lot of sense. And I never saw him re-signing anyways. They turned down his I believe it was a team qualifier, if I'm not mistaken. So, it made a lot of sense why they decided to move on from that. Another guy we lost is Jose Trevino. This, I understand why they made the trade. The replacement for him, obviously, is not a great replacement. Trevino can start. He can be a starting catcher for a lot of teams in the MLB. Obviously, is he top tier? No, but he's great defensively. His arm sucks, but defensively he's good. I feel like his pitch calling was good. His framing was very good. He did win a platinum glove, although I don't really believe in the whole platinum glove, gold glove thing. I think it's a little swayed, but he was good defensively. He had one good offensive season from us. Once he got injured, it seemed like that all went away. Maybe it was just lightning in a bottle for a little bit, but overall he was a good catcher for us, and another guy where it's tough to lose, but the trade, what we got back in return, I'm not upset with. So it makes sense why they decided to move on from something like that. Then Nestor Cortez. Wow. I mean, I didn't see it coming personally. That it's hard to lose somebody like that. Nestor's a good pitcher. Injuries hurt him, I feel, the past 2 seasons. I don't think he was ever going to get back to his 2.3 ERA. I think that was just the best season of his career. Don't think he'll ever have a better season than that. But the craftiness, I think the new rules are starting to hurt him. He can't do so much as the old Nestor leg swing and stuff. So it's again, it's a guy you like to have on your team. So nobody's like, oh, we got Nestor Cortez. This sucks. Like this, even when he was on the mound, he wasn't always great, but he was, in my opinion, he's fun to watch. And you could see when he was struggling last year, the fatigue the last 2 years, the fatigue really seemed to get to him bad. And anytime he had any fatigue, I'm not going to blame him for the Freddie Freeman home run, as he should not have been in that position after not pitching for over a month. That was so bad. I mean, I would have put almost anybody in the bullpen in there before him. It didn't make sense to me, and I think almost every Yankee fan agrees it made no sense to put him in that situation. And it's sucks because that's one of his last Yankee moments, and he's had a lot of great Yankee moments. Him and Trevino, and it's just the 2023 All-Star season when they're talking to each other. It's just a cool moment to have, and it's a nice guy to have on your team. And I don't think we're not losing much without him personally. I don't think he really wanted to be in the bullpen. Yankees. He was another guy like Stanton, very good about talking about when he's making mistakes and how he needs to be better. And I know he agreed. Yeah, I'll do anything for a ring, but I don't think in his heart he wanted to be in the bullpen. So. Which it seemed like that's likely where he would have landed if we kept him this year. So it makes sense why they did trade him and get off of him. And some other guys like Verdugo, another guy we lost. Left field, defensively was nice. It was so nice to finally have a good defensive left fielder. The past 2 seasons watching. Ever since Guardy left, but really, mostly since Guardy. Oh my God, it's been horrendous. Watching it, it was hard to watch sometimes. Every time the ball was hit into left field, if it was a windy day, you held your breath. Sunny day, you held your breath because it seemed like it was just our weak spot. Having Cabrera out there, just trying to find somebody. I'm so happy this offseason with the additions they made. It seemed like we finally got guys for their own position and stopped getting guys to just randomly put, maybe we can show him how to play this position, that position. It was nice to have him. Obviously the bat was terrible. It was really bad. 220s, I believe, maybe 230s he landed in. He just was not great. He had a couple great moments like that. The one game against the Red Sox, his first game back, that was really cool to watch. It's a great game to watch. I believe he was 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs or something like that, but it was a 1-year rental like Soto. There's not much emotional attachment to him, and I think him leaving gives Dominguez a better chance to really adapt to the MLB as long as he can stay healthy. And it's another guy sad to see go, but it makes a lot of sense why I don't think they ever had thoughts of bringing him back personally. So maybe if they didn't get Bellinger, then maybe they would have talked about a 1-year deal. But I just don't. I don't see why they would have kept him and brought him back. And then some other guys, Tim Meza, left-handed, nothing special, didn't play a lot, wasn't really the greatest. I don't think I think we declined his option or something like that. I forget what it's called, but yeah. Same thing with John Birdie. Birdie was when we traded for him. It was nice. It was like, oh, okay, cool. At least we get some speed, and the his 2023 season looked good. So, um, it makes sense why they'd get somebody. The Yankees always seem to do that at the end of every spring training. Just go out and get a random guy, and John Birdie was, I think, one of the better ones they've done in the past couple of years. It was nice. He was good defensively. He had no issues with him defensively. His bat seemed a little slow. Seemed a little slow to get started, but he was fast, and it was nice. We never have speed on the bases, so it was really nice to have somebody like that. And yeah, so I believe they declined his. I think it's something. I personally don't remember what it's called, but just like Mesa, they declined his option, so they wouldn't have to pay the money. They were trying to free up some payroll to get a little bit under that $301 million. For that, they eventually popped right back over with Bellinger and Goldschmidt, and then Cody Petit, we traded for. We ended up trading for Bellinger 1-on-1. I mean, nothing nothing special. It was a good filler guy. I do remember one of his. I think he had a no hitter through 5 in one of his something like, maybe not a no hitter, but he was pitching very well. I think maybe it was against the Guardians. I don't remember personally, but I know he has some good moments, and it's we lost one of the Codys, but and we traded him for a Cody, so it ended up we gained the one right back. But he was he's a good fill starter, filler. I think he'll have a chance in Chicago, so it's nice to see guys to get a chance. So yeah, but not much else. And so those are the guys we ended up losing last year, and Juan Soto's the big one. Obviously, you don't want to lose Juan Soto. It was tough. Just trust me, seeing that on my phone, I was actually working on my car at the time, and I was under the car, and I get the notification, and at the time I'm paying attention to everything. You just look at it. I think I laid under there for like 10 minutes, just like, it's upsetting, losing a guy like that, but I hope for the best for him, and I hope he continues to have a Hall of Fame career, because he's a special guy to watch. And man, I went to a couple of Yankees games last year, and even Judge, I've never seen love like that. I know he brings a really good Dominican culture in, and Dominicans, they always have a lot of energy, and it was really cool seeing that energy in Yankee Stadium, and it kind of distracted, it kind of pulled the attention away from, we don't have a lot of great fans, to be completely honest. Some of you guys are scumbags, but it was really cool to see something like that. I mean, he even brought out the best in Trent Grisham, man. That Trent Grisham home run, when they're chanting "We want Soto," and he hits a bomb. That was cool. I just feel like he was a guy that made everybody around him a little bit better. So that's really, like, that's the hard loss, I'd say. Maybe Torres for some of us, and Cortez too, but Soto, losing out on a guy like that, especially when he already played for your team, and we gave up so much pitching for him. So much pitching. It's hard to see a guy like that walk. It really is. I do feel like it's a little bit of the Scott Boras effect. But, we move on. I think these additions helped me feel better, and a lot of Yankees fans feel better. So I'm gonna start off with a big one, man. Max Fried. Going into this offseason, I didn't see this happening personally. I just never even, obviously I knew he was a free agent and it would be cool to have him. Never a thought in my mind that he'd be a Yankee. The deal is a little bit absurd for the length of it. He's going to be, I believe, going into his 39-year-old season at the end of this contract, and I can definitely see after maybe year 4 us not wanting to pay that much for he got the biggest contract in left-hand pitcher history. So, but you can look at his stats from the past couple of years. He's amazing. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. That's another fear I have for him, but he's a great pitcher. I think adding that to this rotation, as long as Cole can stay healthy and Heel can reperform the way he did last year, as long as we don't trade him, pairing that with Clark Schmidt, I think that's a phenomenal rotation. I think that's a rotation that that will get us to the World Series. I don't have a doubt in my mind that starting rotation, as long as everybody stays healthy, there will be injuries obviously, but there's no doubt in my mind this rotation will go deep. And let me not forget about Rodon too. I couldn't think of him in the moment, but Carlos Rodon too. He had a great bounce back year. Not to his dominant seasons he's had a couple years before, but. So yes, Max Fried, great addition. Um, the injury history is a little scary, but I think it's a great spot to move this rotation to elite, almost elite at least. I mean, they're pretty up there. Garrett Cole won a Cy Young 2 seasons ago. Rodon has won a Cy Young before. Rodon has not won a Cy Young. He's on the decline, but I mean, I don't see him being too much of an issue. Clark Schmidt has seemed to only get better, and Luis Hill won the Rookie of the Year. I see Luis Hill. I don't see him. Luis Hill's tough for me because I'm still worried about the injuries because, the 2 Tommy Johns is tough to come back. It's just such a small amount has even pitched again, let alone been successful after Tommy John, after the second one. So we'll see how that ends up, but I believe he's going to be at least good for a couple of years. So, but he's a great addition. So next was our Anthony Rizzo replacement, Paul Goldschmidt, and I think this is a great signing. I mean, I know he's old, and I know last year was not great, but towards the end of last year, you could see he seemed to pick it up a little bit more. His defense is still good. He's won a couple Gold Gloves, like I said before. Dez doesn't really make it doesn't wow me winning Gold Gloves. I mean, Juan Soto was in the Gold Glove talk, but he's good defensively. We know that. We know he's going to hold it down. I don't see him playing. I know he's always played a lot, 150 plus almost every year of his career other than one, I think. So I don't see him playing that much. I think against righties they'll give maybe Ben Rice a little bit more. No, LeMahieu's still first base. I don't know what's going on with LeMahieu, truthfully. Sometimes I don't even calculate that he's on this team, but I don't see him. I've seen him playing 120 maybe at most. I don't see him playing much more than that. So it's a great signing. The contract's not huge. I mean, 12.5 is still a lot of money, but with how much players are going for now, this is a good signing. I think this is a good leadership signing as well, and I would love to see Goldie get a World Series ring, man. I feel like he's gonna go to the Hall of Fame, and I feel like getting that World Series really, helps you a little bit more. So I hope he gets. Let's just give him one. I hope. Next, we got Devin Williams. I mean, didn't see this coming at all. Wasn't on the radar for it at all. It just saw it. It just came up, and I was like, whoa, what a trade, man. That is. I know he's 1 year again, like a lot of the other guys we've gotten last year, but. I mean, it's Devin Williams. I know the playoffs have been awful for him, but look, he's been probably one of the better closers in baseball for the past couple seasons. I mean, he's just been, dude, that changeup, screwball, whatever you want, it's so nasty. It's a great pitch. I know he's in the upper 90s with his fastball, maybe mid 90s. I don't remember 100%, but he's a good closer, man. This is an upgrade. I mean, Max Fried was a great addition to the rotation. We're not really upgrading. Maybe an upgrade from Nestor Cortez, which is obviously amazing. That's a huge upgrade, but we weren't replacing him. He wasn't the replacement for anybody. Paul Goldschmidt was a replacement for Anthony Rizzo. That's a great upgrade. I mean, we got no production from the first base last year, none at all. So I think adding that little bit more of help will make this team that much better. And then Devin Williams is way better than Clay Holmes. I don't care what anybody says. He's just so much better than Clay Holmes. Such a better closer. I feel much more comfortable with Weaver in an 8th inning spot. I mean, he was dominant. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset if he's a closer, if he was our closer, but I mean, he doesn't touch Devin Williams. So having him in the 8th inning and then Devin Williams in the 9th is. I mean, at least those last 2 innings is going to be nice for the Yankees. It's going to be, it's nice to have a 1-2 punch like that. It's great, and I feel like they're gonna work together very well. So I'm not upset. I know they just agreed on arbitration. I think it was $7 or $8 million. I don't remember 100%. Maybe it was 11. But I mean, Devin Williams is I mean, R.I.P. the beard, man. Oh my God, I saw a picture with him, like a photoshopped image with him without it. That's rough. It's pretty rough. I get rid of the beard rule. I mean, guys, come on, get rid of it. I know we're the Yankees and we're like old school, whatever. We have to be, blah blah blah. I mean, we could have guys with porn star mustaches, why is it an issue to have a beard? It makes no sense to me. But it is what it is. But a great addition. I love it. It's a great addition. Another big addition, Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger always felt like a Yankee. When he was a free agent, I honestly thought we were going to sign him. I really did. I wanted to sign him too. I know, people are a little like iffy about him, but he did change his swing. It's a pretty decent change. He took that 100% swing away every pitch. That's out. Cody Bellinger is as not as great as he was defensively, but he's still a phenomenal defensive. Whether you have him in center or first base. So defensively wise, our outfield is so much better than. I mean, Judge is great. I didn't see a Judge playing. I didn't see a problem with Judge playing center field. But his he's so good in right field. Right field's not that big in Yankee Stadium, so I do think he's an elite right fielder for his position, and he's had good numbers in every stadium in right field. So I don't think Yankee Stadium is a reason why he's so good. But I mean, that outfield defense gets so much better with Cody Bellinger out there. I think Dominguez needs to pick it up a little bit. I don't think he's gonna have too much of an issue. I think he just needs to get comfortable. He's big prospect, so I think they'll be all right. I mean, I'm not super against putting Cody in left and Judge in right. I feel like that gives Dominguez a little bit of a blanket if he's in center field. I don't know how many people agree with that, and I don't think that's a thought in the Yankees' mind. It's just you got two great defensive outfielders next to you, and left field and center field are both huge. So left field's huge and center field's huge. It makes honestly, I think it's for Yankee Stadium at least. It's not. It's a difference. Sorry, it's a big difference. But it's one of the harder left fields to play in baseball. So I think I don't see an issue with him playing center or left field. But anyways, another addition, Fernando Cruz. This is who we traded for. We got Jose Trevino. Also got Alex Jackson in that trade. I'll kind of mush them together. Alex Jackson is just a backup catcher. I mean, you're not going to get nothing special from him. I'm pretty sure I think he's good defensively. I don't think he's above and beyond. I know the bat's not great. So, honestly, never even heard of him before we traded. I heard of Fernando Cruz. I watched Fernando Cruz a little bit before. I saw a couple people like, oh, over 4 ERA, is that who we want? This guy's good. I mean, the stuff he has, and we all know Matt Blake and how Matt Blake's amazing. I mean, one of the better pitching coaches we've ever had. Not ever. We've had in a while. Matt Blake is great. He's going to have an absolute field day with Fernando Cruz. Look, we needed a guy with strikeout stuff. Last year, it was so hard. Our defense sucked, and then we had guys that didn't strike out guys. It was very hard to watch, and now we improved our defense, and we got more strikeout guys. So less room for error, in my opinion. I feel like our defense is going to be much better this year. I still don't know what the output is. Do we go get a third baseman and have Jazz stick to second? Do we trust Jazz? I trust Jazz at third. I think he looked great. I mean, I'd rather him in a more natural position. Look, honestly, naturally, I think Jazz can play literally any position if you taught him to. He's so athletic. But second base, I know he's used to it, and I feel like I'd want a good defensive third baseman over a good defensive second baseman, and then moving Jazz to third. I think Jazz should stay at second, and we should go for another third baseman. But who knows? I mean, this offseason, honestly, sucked. Not a lot of guys to really go get. Even trades, like, is it really worth a lot? Like, it was tough. Not a lot of trades, So I think they did well. I think what they've done this offseason was losing Juan Soto's hard, man. So what they did and our plan B, I feel like we're just missing one guy. I think we need one more guy. I don't think they signed Bregman. I don't see Bregman as a fit either. He's good defensively at third base, so I trust him at third. But I don't see the bat. Like, I feel like Houston played to him well with the Crawford box in left field. And, Yankee Stadium's left field's huge, man. If you don't pull it down the line, you got it. You got to hit a 4 to get it out. So, a lot of a misconception to a lot of people who think it's just a Mickey Mouse park. Right field is 100%, but left field, it pitches out so much. I don't think he's a Deadpool hitter. Don't think he's a good fit for us. And I see third base being something we did last year. Maybe getting a John Birdie-esque kind of guy, even for second base too. I mean, I saw they were interested in a couple guys. Jorge Polanco, Brendan Donovan. I mean, maybe Brendan Donovan, if that's his name, from the Rockies, but I don't see. I think it's just going to be a late end spring training trade that we do, or pick up from somebody who released a guy, as we always do, just to fill in until the All-Star break. So we'll see. I don't think Luis Ariz is going to happen, and also if it does happen, he's horrible at second base. He's worse than Gleyber Torres. So the bat would be amazing. I'd love to have him as a leadoff hitter, but you can't put him at DH, and you can put him at DH. Stanton more than likely will get hurt, and he's going to have a decent amount of off days. So if you're only throwing a Rise out there for 81 games, maybe half the season at second base, yeah, does it suck because he's really, really bad at second base? 100%. But, I feel like the bad outweighs it in a sense. Just like, not just like Juan Soto, because Juan Soto's a different breed. But in the way of, you can get over the defense with how good the bat is. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs. Maybe he'll hit maybe 10 in Yankee Stadium. Maybe. He's not a home run guy. I think he has 24 career home runs. He's not a home run guy. But he's going to get on base, which is exactly what we need for a guy like him in front of Judge. Having Cody Bellinger, maybe, I don't know what the plan is, maybe Wells, but having those guys behind, we just need somebody behind Judge to hit well. That's what we really, really need that. I mean, it's going to help tremendous amount, not like in 2022 where he was doing everything by himself. So, but their offseason grade on, I think it's done. I have him as a B+, maybe just a regular B. I think I don't see how it could get much better. Adding a guy would help me. Maybe I don't think they get to an A, because I think A would have been Juan Soto and all these guys, which wouldn't have happened obviously. But I don't see, maybe an A. I'm sitting in between. They had a good offseason. They hunkered down after losing one of the best players. I mean, in this generation, we'll probably see. I mean, he's good. So it's tough to lose a guy like that. But I think Brian Cashman and Hal did well. One last thing before I end this podcast. First, thank you for everybody. This is my first one. I would like to continue this. Maybe try once a week. This is a dream of mine to even do something like this. If I can make this a career, it'd be awesome. I played JUCO baseball, and I need Tommy John surgery, so I can't play anymore. So at least this keeps me a part of the game, and if I can make this work, it'd be a dream come true. And anybody who listens, whether it's 10 or 10,000 people, I appreciate you all. And thank you for listening. But one last thing before I do end the podcast, I want to say this. Recently, I just got a notification probably 2 hours ago. Dodgers signed Tanner Scott. And, a lot of people are looking at this, and baseball fans who aren't Yankees fans, I will say this. I see why you're so upset. I mean, all the talent is focused on a couple teams now, where it's very hard to be a fan of a team and know you're never going to sign anybody big, and I genuinely I actually feel bad because I'm a Yankees fan, but I love the game and I want to see the game grow. I don't think the game's going to grow like this. I think it'll grow for Dodgers fans 100%. Yankees fans will always be here, but like it's tough for these lower market teams. I don't think it's fair for teams like the Rays and teams like the Athletics and teams like the Guardians, who always develop very good players but either ended up trading them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those owners have the money to sign people. But they'll always be outmatched because they aren't willing to give the extra dollar or the extra year like the Dodgers, the Yankees. Like the teams who do, even the Padres are pretty good at spending money. The Red Sox when they feel like it, I guess. But this is a message to Yankees fans. You cannot be upset. Do I think it's a little beyond what Yankees have ever done? 100%. But we did the same thing. We did the exact same thing. We signed everybody. We gave everybody more money to come to us. And, I as a Yankee fan, you can't be mad at somebody for doing the exact same thing we did. That's not right. Do I like it? No, but we did the same thing. So don't sit here and be so upset for the Dodgers. Look, Hal spent a lot of money, and he's pretty good about spending. Constantly spends a lot of money. Can he spend more? Absolutely, dude. I've been in a Yankee game. $50 to park, another $50 on food on top of the almost $200 a ticket a piece, basically, if you want to sit anywhere decent. So, can he spend it? Yes. Will he spend it? Look, don't expect him to spend the money like that. I think they're really on that 301 threshold. They're the third year in a row with the going over the luxury tax. They don't want to spend 100%, 10% on every single dollar. Any more money they send. That's why I said Bregman's unlikely. They've done well, okay, and they consistently spend a lot of money. The Dodgers are their own breed of a team. I see them winning again. Look, the Yankees are the best team in the AL. I don't see a team that will beat them. Honestly, it just looks, the AL is so bleak right now, and it could happen 100%, obviously, but NL is stacked. I want the Phillies to sign more guys so we can, hopefully have some sort of hope against the Dodgers. But that's going to end my first podcast. Thank you for everybody listening, and if you like it, subscribe. Thank you, guys.